Hi, my name is Mike Sullivan. I'm the Member of Parliament for York South Weston. I am the Deputy Critic for Persons with Disabilities for the New Democratic Party, for the official opposition. And I am always pushing both my party and in the House of Commons to raise awareness. This is a great way to raise awareness of the issues facing persons with mobility issues in particular, but for awareness of all disability issues. Accessibility means having the same ability as everyone else in Canada, regardless of a person's physical or mental capacity, to have the same access to everything that we as able-bodied Canadians expect. So the same access to government services, the same access to any public service, the same access to any service put on by a private organization, whether that's a store or a bank or any other facility, that we as Canadians ought to expect that everyone have exactly the same access, which is what accessibility means to persons with disabilities. It's not as well thought of by persons who don't have a disability, and so that's why we have the awareness issues. If you're a business owner and your business isn't acceptable, you've just cut off 30% of your possible clientele. You should care. If you are a person who is carrying on any kind of a public service, so a bus driver, somebody who runs an agency or a government service, you should care because those clients are people who expect to be able to have access to the services you provide. And everything in Canada should be, we should all care that everything in Canada should be accessible to all Canadians. But every effort we make to raise the profile of accessibility is another step in the right direction. So we're a long way from having a completely accessible Canada. There are lots and lots of issues. I've been to other countries where they've done a better job than Canada of making things accessible. Even here in Ottawa, if you're in a chair and want to reach the button to push to have the light change, oftentimes you can't because there's a big pile of snow up against the post the button's on, and you can't get at it. And I have mentioned that to the mayor of Ottawa, and he has asked me, well, which corner? I mean, it shouldn't have to be which corner, it should be all corners. And that's part of making awareness the number one issue. The mayor of Ottawa should be immediately aware that it's a problem everywhere it happens, not just which corner is it on. The government of Canada has signed the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and they've just released their report. The report is basically a history, a little snapshot of what Canada's really like. It doesn't actually identify the things that need to be done. It doesn't identify who and how the government will monitor and implement changes to accessibility in Canada. And so those things need to be done. And that's part of why I'm the critic. I want to continue to press this government, and in 2015, when there's a new government and maybe it'll be NDP, we will continue to press ourselves for increasing accessibility for Canadians to have access to every government service, to have access to every government operation. To the recent debacle with Canada Post clearly raises the specter of accessibility. And there are lots of people who never even thought about it until Canada Post said, well, we're putting in super mailboxes on every corner. Those super mailboxes, I've looked at them. They're not accessible. It's not possible for somebody in a chair to get to a mailbox that's on the other side of a street, that the street isn't plowed, and that the box itself isn't shoveled, nor is there a curb cut by the box. So how is that person supposed to get their mail? what happens is persons with disabilities look for places to live where they don't have to worry about that. But as soon as they remove all of those places to live, then they've just made Canada less accessible. And that's not the direction we should be moving.